Well, howdy. This is WB's Garden Update. We start getting a few cucumbers here, and certain flowers are fading. We got a few more coming in. We got some gladiolas going to bloom. All sorts of plants still in the garden blooming. Lots of those beautiful snapdragons have been going since spring. I've been trimming back my Jerusalem cherry into a tree form again. It's doing really good. It's really an old plant. And I redid the big flower box in front of the three-season room. Looks really good. It really needed to be redone. So we got that going. Here's a close-up of those beautiful snapdragons that literally stayed through the winter. Didn't die. The garden is always changing. That's sort of a rule. Changes, readjustments, new plants, old plants fading. That's life. That's the circle of life in a garden. My feverfew are starting to come back. You can see this is their second blooming. It's not as dramatic as the first, but they're a beautiful little dependable flower from the chrysanthemum family, and they are a medicinal herb. Feverfew leaves are good for headaches and inflammation. And I make a little sandwich out of them, out of butter and feverfew on whole wheat bread, and I put it in the freezer and use it when I need it. There's some beautiful roses. My roses are very unique. They grow really tall and very tall. In fact, here, look at that. It's unbelievable. I always get one single rose at the top. That's okay. There's our flamingo. The flamingos are doing very good in this environment. Of course, they are plastic. We still got some lovely black-eyed Susans going, which I really love. Uh-oh, I hear a little friend over here. Let's go see what he's saying. There's Buddy. Yeah, I know, Buddy. Tell me all about it. What? He's the outdoor cat. He's a feral cat that just hangs around. Doesn't want to be petted, but he does talk a lot. Yeah, good for you. Yeah. Here we have the avocado. What's left of my corn with beans growing up. Some of them. You can see that my bamboo fence is covered with vines. They're fantastic. You can see these beautiful hyacinth bean flowers. They look like little orchids. They're really neat. There's the poinsettia that I trimmed. I actually trimmed it, believe it or not. I got some basil happening here. I need to trim it back and dry some out for the winter. It's so good in a salad. Rosemary, I cut it back. It's growing like crazy. Now, you got to look at this. Look at that. This is the sweet autumn clematis that is going to be blooming soon. It'll be just like a giant ball of white. But here we have these moon flowers that I planted, and they have just grown like crazy. And they're getting really big. There's a blossom. They only bloom at night. They're really something. Now here's what I call the fairy tunnel, because you now have to bend over and down to get to the other part of the garden. Haha. Sage. I just trimmed it. It's growing like crazy. Very different than it was in the early summer. Here we have a lot of basil, some more of my corn that I didn't even get much of, but I'm dying to know what this plant is. This is a volunteer, and it started growing when the tomatoes were like pooping out. Of course, we had terrible year for tomatoes. This guy started to grow, and I've got all kinds of these round oblong fruits. I have no idea what it is. It is something I must have bought at the local market and threw part of it into the garden. It's some sort of a squash cucumber thingy. I've got some radishes and lettuce I put in. Garlic chives. God, they're just so productive. And they have the most beautiful flowers in the spring. I mean, not the spring, the late summer. Duh. So that's kind of cool. And this strange vine, who I don't know what it is, took over. We went on a camping trip, and the next thing we knew, we came back and there it was. Just everywhere. I can't even keep up with it. So I just let it have a good time and make a lovely screen on the back fence. Okay, I'm going to stop right over here and let you see some of this viburnum, a kind of viburnum, New Jersey tea, I've heard it's called. I grew it from a stick that was in a Christmas floral arrangement, and I had a root on it. So I put it in some water, got more roots, planted it in a pot, and eventually moved it outside, and it's doing incredible. I just love those white berries. Aren't they neat? So there you go. This is Wolf Boy's Update. It's a little bit long, but I wanted to give you a good tour. You guys be good to yourself out there. Remember, you may be the medicine that the world needs. So do something good for your community today. Matakawe Oyasin.